Welcome to the session. Let me walk you through in a couple of minutes what impact could bioplastics make on ocean pollution. My name is Gregorio. I'm Policy and Advocacy Strategy Director for Plastics Business in EMEA at Dows. So we all acknowledge the plastic waste issue, together with marine littering and climate change and environmental degradations, are existential threats to our planet and fundamentally as well to all of us. We cannot accept that too much plastic waste is ending in the environment. In fact, we want to see that changing and see that plastic waste is not anymore considered a waste, but is considered a valuable residue that has a new life as a raw material in the plastic circular economy. On the other side, we recognize that plastic has revolutionized our lives in the past years and is helping us to achieve United Nations Sustainable Developmental Goals. There are several scientific reports that are assessing that without plastics and substituting them for alternative materials, this will have worse impact in the environment using a life cycle assessment approach because it will create more greenhouse gases emissions. So in that context, we are recognizing as well the citizens, policymakers, and NGOs are calling us, the industry, for a fundamental change in the way we are producing, in the way we are operating our industries. To start with, the European Union is leading that movement globally. They published 2 years ago, as you all know, the European Green Deal that is setting a clear direction of travel. European Union is the first continent in the world that has declared carbon neutrality pledge by 2050 and is on the way to accelerate the circular economy for plastics. This is the first goal of the European Union with the Green Deal. And other countries in the world are following very quickly. At the global level, we heard later last year at COP26 conference a clear ambition globally to accelerate the pathways to carbon neutrality across different industries in the world to fight climate change. And we are hearing as well this week at UNEA 5 conference the need to reach a global plastic treaty to put an end to the plastic waste into the environment issue that we are seeing. So to achieve this, we must speed up as an industry. And we are on the journey. We are an industry in the transformation phase. At Dow, as a leading material science company, we have this very clear. And we are investing in different innovations and as well accelerating value chain partnerships and collaborations to be able to deliver on our goals to solve these issues and to advance our industry into a carbon neutral, circular industry for the future. So we have 3 goals, concrete ones: protect the climate. That is all around how we are reducing our carbon emissions, the way we are producing the plastics to reduce scope 1, 2, and 3, and to become carbon neutral by 2050. It's all around how we are accelerating the close-the-loop efforts to enabling the transformation of our industry into a circular industry in the future, and as well goals around stopping the waste and putting an end to that issue. Let me put here in the Stop the Waste concrete examples. A few weeks ago, beginning of this year, we have announced an investment in a company in Kenya, in Africa, called Mr. Green Africa, that will help this company to expand their operations, recycling operations, not only in Kenya, but in other countries in Africa, and to recycle up to 90,000 metric tons of plastic waste to be reutilized in new applications in the coming 4 years. This will have another positive effect, which is not only enabling recycling, but as well improving the well-being of the local communities, especially women, that they have access to a labor market that they don't have today. Another concrete example is the opening last year of the first industrial scale plant in France for recycling polyurethane foams from mattresses that we are using, all of us, right? To get back to the bonds of that chemistry and get polyolefins that can be used again in mattresses or in new applications. We have announced as well 1.5 years ago a very investment growth aggressive plan to scale up chemical recycling facilities all over the world with partners in North America, New Hope, and in Europe, Phoenix and Mura, to scale up the chemical recycling technologies to be able to be able to incorporate recycled content into food contact sensitive markets applications, like, for example, food packaging or cosmetics packaging, enabling the transformation into the circular economy of plastics. So how we are putting our strategy in action, how we are making this happening, because this is a multi-dimensional problem, right? So we have 5 pillars, and in each pillar we are delivering concrete actions. The first one is D4R, we call Design for Recyclability. How we are redesigning through innovation in material science our plastics polymers, to be able to substitute current non-recyclable structures into recyclable structures. And this is possible. This is already a reality. We are working very hard with extrusion manufacturer partners, utilizing the latest state-of-the-art conversion technologies for plastics with our novel materials to make that happen. In the second pillar, we have mechanical recycling. If we are designing for recyclability, we want to give a new life to those recyclates. So this is all about how we are scaling up those mechanical recycling infrastructures. Advanced recycling, I already said to you that we are investing a lot in that pillar to produce circular resins that can be utilized in many different applications that require food contact compliance. Low carbon resins. This is a very strategic pillar and comes along on the way we are producing our plastics and how we are advancing in our carbon neutrality path to 2050. Let me put here examples. So we announced October last year a very ambitious investment plan to allocate $1 billion per year in the coming years to reconvert our production sites in a step-by-step, phase-by-phase approach into carbon neutral plants by 2050. How we are doing this? So we announced an investment into the first global net zero ethylene and derivatives complex that is going to be built in Alberta, in Canada, and we have very ambitious plan to transform our production processes and plants in Europe. With the leading plant and the largest one that we have in Europe located in Terneuzen in the Netherlands, in which we have a phase-by-phase approach to decarbonize the way we produce plastics. In the first step, we are going to be investing to scale up clean hydrogen technologies, which means coming with the carbon by gases that we are producing in our plants, utilizing them to produce hydrogen and CO2. This hydrogen is later will be later be used as a clean fuel instead of fossil fuels, helping to decarbonize our production processes. And the CO2 will be captured and stored using CCS novel technologies. So this is on the roadmap, and it's going to be enter a reality in 2026, helping us to reduce 1.4 million metric tons of CO2 in that site by 2026 onwards per year. In the later phase of that plan is as well incorporate the investment together with partners, and we announced a collaboration with Shell to scale up the e-cracking technologies. It's an existing technology, but it's not a scale up. And this is all about how we are moving from our current steam cracker furnaces that are fueled by fossil fuels into novel e-cracking technologies that are going to be powered by renewable energy sources, helping to really become carbon neutral by 2050. So let me deep dive a little bit more into bio-based plastics. Bio-based plastics are the ones that are produced utilizing bio-based feedstocks instead of fossil feedstocks. This helps to reduce the fossil sources dependence. We are only utilizing what is called second generation or advanced biofeedstocks, which are the ones coming from wastes and residues of different biomass sources, like, for example, crude tall oil or used cooking oil. So this means those bio-based plastics are produced in not competition with food supply chain. Our processes and our suppliers' processes are ICC Plus certified, International Sustainability and Carbon Certification Scheme, that requires a third-party year audit to demonstrate that the processes and the practices are sustainable according to the guidelines on that standard. The way we are producing our bio-based plastics is following a change of custody that is called mass balance. This is a recognized change of custody by different international bodies, for example, Ellen MacArthur Foundation, that was issuing a white paper on this several years ago to recognize this mass balance, a good approach to help the plastics and the chemical industry globally to accelerate faster and further the utilization of alternative to fossil biofeedstocks to become more carbon neutral and to achieve circular goals. The major benefit of the bio-based plastics is the lower CO2 footprint versus standard fossil traditional plastics. And this is derived of two elements of the life cycle assessment analysis. The first one is utilizing only second generation biofeedstocks is having a low or even no upstream burdens in the calculation method. The second is derived of the fact that the biogenic content is included in that calculation. And this is coming from the CO2 that is sequestrated during the growing phase of the biomass. The good thing as well of bio-based plastics is those are dropping versus standard fossil plastics. This means those plastics have the same characteristics in terms of performance that standard fossil plastics, including as well the compatibility with recycling in existing plastics stream. This is very important because this means that if an article or an item is produced using bio-based plastics, it will have the same recyclability compatibility with standard plastics and will not interfere recycling efficiency. So it's in the community, it's existing a sorting and a separate collection, sorting and recycling infrastructure. It will be recycled at the end of life. It has been designed for recyclability. This is truly different from biodegradable plastics. Biodegradable plastics are the ones that can be produced either from fossil or bio-based feedstocks, but the end of life of those plastics is environmental dependent because the biodegradability character on the environment and the conditions on that environment, but it's as well depending on the polymer by polymer approach. We believe biodegradable plastics should only be used when they are delivering significant life cycle assessment benefits over standard plastics for a given application. We believe they should not be used or should not be never seen as a quick fix to plastic waste issue and pollution. So yes, the challenge is complex. The challenge that we have all of in front of us is really complex, as we just discussed. And achieving this, putting this to an end of plastic pollution, it will take major innovation and investment, as I explained. We are in this journey. The industry is in this journey. The industry understands we have a shared responsibility and we are doing our part. And we are excited to do our part because we truly believe we are creating the industry of the future, the industry of a circular, low carbon footprint plastics industry of this century. Now, we are recognizing we can do this alone. And lately, we have received a lot of criticism from different stakeholders, of course, led by NGOs. And we hear that. And we want to have a call for action to all of you here listening to us. Come to talk to us, speak with us. Let's exchange ideas, let's exchange opinions on how we can accelerate this journey, how we do the things better, how we should see the things to really make sure that we are in the roadmap, in the right one, to basically create the best plastics industry for the future, to stop the plastic waste issue, to create a circular economy for plastics, and to create a low CO2 plastics industry of the near future. So with that, let me say as well that we want to take this goal with us. We want to put our efforts to make that happen because at the end, the only impossible journey is the one you never begin. Thank you very much for your attention.